Let's begin this final series of modules by briefly reviewing and summarizing what has been covered in earlier series. We began the first module of our first series looking at some dream scenarios where you would love to make the world a better place, however you define that. Then we, momentarily at least, put those dreams to the side while we reviewed the processes built out over 8,000 years of human interchange experience processes that inevitably established roadblocks to the sort of work that you really want to do today. The good news, though, is that the relatively recent innovations of representing assets of value as trusted digital tokens can in fact help you make those dreams a reality. But only if a few problems can be resolved first. The blockchain and cryptocurrency cultures that spawned the concept of trusted tokens, enjoying first mover status, established some misconceptions that must be addressed if tokenized markets are to really achieve web-scale adoption. We've already covered two major ones at length. First, while all cryptocurrencies are tokens, not nearly all tokens are cryptocurrencies. Virtually any item of value, whether real or intrinsic, digital only or out in the real world, can be represented by a token. Second, tokens do not require a particular blockchain platform, or for that matter, any blockchain at all, to work. They do need to live on a shared, distributed environment that all parties can trust, but there are many ways to accomplish this at a platform level. Part of the InterWork Alliance mission is to help the industry resolve these misconceptions, but that's just communications. The real work, the heavy lifting, if you will, is to produce a meta model, a scientifically based taxonomy and ontology that becomes the common standard for describing digital assets across all industries. This is an absolute requirement for enabling reusability and interworking between applications from different vendors produced for different platforms. In our previous series, we introduced the InterWork Alliance's token taxonomy framework as delivering precisely this standard. Your first thought might be that there are already other standards organizations working on exactly this problem. And you'd be partially right. There are a number of groups working on technical standards around tokens and the platforms on which they live, but they are all focusing on different parts of a larger topic. Quite a few international, regional, and national standards development organizations, open standards organizations, and open source software communities have mobilized to drive technical innovation around blockchain, distributed ledgers, and tokens. The IEEE, ETSI, CAICT, Oasis, and Hyperledger are just a few of the many names involved. However, none of these organizations are focused on actually making a market for products built for these specifications, and this is where the InterWork Alliance uniquely comes into play. Exceptional engineering has the potential to reinvent and dramatically evolve markets, but such potential can easily sputter out if the resulting technology cannot be transformed into products and services that the average consumer recognizes as having a positive impact on their lives. Without such a transition from technical innovation to market receptivity, even the most groundbreaking technology will remain limited to a small cadre of enthusiasts and likely never achieve web-scale adoption. History has shown time and again that in any multi-stakeholder ecosystem, the most successful transitions from technology innovation to adoption have occurred when key market makers voluntarily collaborated on empowering that innovation. This collaboration usually takes the form of an industry organization, association, or alliance that understands how to introduce the technology to the world and ensure that it really works as expected by the average consumer. It's useful to step outside the world of tokens for a moment and use a technology that we are all familiar with, Wi-Fi, to understand the true criticality of industry organizations in bringing acceptance to emerging markets. Our next module will focus on how the Wi-Fi Alliance transformed a fledgling technology into something that today we cannot live without. Following that, we'll conclude the series with a more in-depth view of the InterWork Alliance as the industry organization with the mission of empowering all organizations to adopt and use token-powered services in their day-to-day operations across use cases and networks, thus bringing inclusivity to globally distributed applications.